Hi there. How's it going? Welcome. My name is Rebecca Gordon and I am the astrologer here at Harpers Bazaar. And I'll be coming on weekly now, every Monday at noon, to talk to you a bit about what's going on in the week ahead and how you can plan your weeks out, astrologically speaking. So you might have seen my columns in Harpers. I wrote my last column on the quarantine and what you can do based on your zodiac sign. So throughout today, I welcome your questions. You can ask me anything you like about astrology, but what I'll be talking to you about is the week ahead and how you can best plan. All right, so welcome. This is a pretty big week because Venus, the planet of love, goes retrograde. All right, we got a lot to talk about here. You might have heard of Mercury retrograde before. Mercury is not the only planet that goes retrograde. Actually, they all do at some point. But Venus rules love. It also rules money. So I'm going to talk about what that means for you in regards to your love life and your money life today, because that's really what's up this week. Retrograde, that's right. All right, so first of all, I do want to say this. When the planet of love is retrograde, often people from the past will come back into our lives. You know, you might get that text from the ex. You might feel the urge to reconnect with somebody. Here's the thing. It's not really a good idea because Venus is also in square to Neptune, the planet of illusion. So things might seem like a good idea at the moment, but they aren't. And if a friend contacts you and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about reconnecting with my ex, you can tell them what I said here, but here's the other thing. You could get closure on a past relationship. You could actually learn something, but it's a kind of a good thing we're in quarantine right now because you're not really going to go meet them, right? You can just kind of say, hey, this happened, let's move on, right? And that's okay. That's okay. Totally cool. Here's the thing though, we just are not very good with our judgment when Venus is retrograde. So I don't want you all making big decisions about your future. If you just want to have fun and everything, fine. But please don't make plans for your future right now, okay? No financial plans, no big love plans. You can hold off on that. We're going to talk about what this means for beauty and your looks as well too, and your value and how you see yourself as a woman as well today. Okay, and I see your questions are coming in. I'm going to get to those after. All right, so the next thing is not only is it about past lovers coming back, but you're going to notice, you're in quarantine and this, maybe if you're in a relationship, it's tenuous now because you're in the same place for hours and hours on end. And that's not really natural. So is anybody here having relationship challenges? Because either you're apart or you're together, right? One or the other. Well, now is not the time to make a decision about your future together, even though you might be feeling like you want to. Try to slow the roll and not do too much. No matter what, it's going to be challenging. But since Venus is in the sign of Gemini, we want to talk about everything, and do it publicly. That's not always the best idea. You don't need to air your dirty laundry publicly all the time. Gemini rules social media, and I'd say refrain from it. People are asking about relationships breaking up. Yes, unfortunately, there are a lot of breakups during Venus retrograde. That's a thing. But we will also see that the strong relationships that are meant for the future are going to get that much stronger. And if you are in a good relationship and it is meant for the future, really focus on healing the relationship, have both partners on board, and you will be stronger than ever before. Okay? So I love the idea of you all, if you are in a good relationship and both of you are on board, try to be better partners with each other, have more conversations. Venus is in Gemini, All right, but we also run the risk of repeating old relationship patterns. And I feel like you might recognize that the relationship you're in and the challenge you're in is part of an old relationship pattern you've done before. Who's recognizing that? or like some old pattern you grew up with. Okay, that can happen for sure. Now, if you see that old pattern coming up and you're like, oh, I'm doing it again, or, oh, here's the same partner with different clothes on, you know, that would mean that it's time for you to step back, do some introspection, and perhaps choose to go the other way. This is a time when you can extract yourself from the old repetitive patterns in love that are not working for you, okay? Who's doing that right now? Is anybody saying unacceptable? You know, no way. Yeah, good. Okay, so there's that. Also, you're going to look at your own value as a woman. You're going to, you know, as women, Venus rules women, it rules femininity, okay? And here's the thing. We as women, we've been through so much in the last 2,000 years, right? Like, you know, we've been hypersexualized. We've been, be the strong career woman, be the earth mother, be the yoga mama, be this, be that, right? All these freaking roles that we're asked to play as women. So when Venus is retrograde, what we're having to really do is go inside ourselves, taking off all those hats, all those roles, and say, what actually feels good, you know, and make decisions based on how you feel. Because even though you had been playing that role as the full-time mother or the full-time career woman, the power woman, or hypersexualized on media, whatever it is, this is a time to take off all those roles and say what really feels like the true me, and redefine your femininity, redefine your womanhood right now. Venus is retrograde. Have conversations with other women about it. What we're all going to see a lot of right now is conversations about feminism again, while Venus is retrograde in Gemini. We are all going to be asking, really, what are we doing here on the planet? What is our role in the female space, in the female species? You know? So those conversations are coming up a lot over the next month. How long is Venus going to be retrograde? Between now and around June 25th. Though, I don't want you to take major action. I mean, honestly, give it a few weeks after the retrograde, because there's a thing called a shadow, and you've already been in the shadow since the beginning, since April. I mean, you've been in the shadow for a few weeks already. You all have been feeling it. Relationships have been hard. Stuff's been coming up from your past, right? So it, you know, supposed to end June 25th. Though I'd say wait till the end of July to be on the safe side. All right? You'll be safest that way. Now let's talk about beauty as well. And wait, stick around to the end because I'm going to give you all a code for readings with me. Okay? Actually, I'll give some of you I know might have to go back to work. So I will give some of you the code right now. The code is Harpers Bazaar, all in caps. And you can just throw that into my website, RebeccaGordonAstrology.com, and you'll get a really juicy discount on readings for 1 week. Okay, until next Sunday. All right, so I want to talk to you about beauty a little bit. Okay, I want to talk to you about why you should not get a haircut, why you should not color your hair, why you should not do anything related to beauty during Venus retrograde, because Venus rules love, beauty, and money. Okay? So when the planet that's patron of the arts and beauty is retro, you can make bad decisions about hair color, cutting bangs, you know, doing things to your appearance. But you know what? We're going to be questioning our appearance right now. We're going to be not feeling so right in our bodies. That's kind of normal during Venus retrograde. You can be like, I want to change my hair. I want to get a new wardrobe. Please don't make those big purchases around changing your appearance in major ways right now, because I guarantee we regret that afterwards. I've seen so many of my girlfriends make decisions during Venus retrograde, and it's always like, oh, yep, where was Venus? Whenever somebody regrets it, I say, where was Venus during that? It was retrograde. So when will be a safe time to do that? Look, I know you all want like that haircut so bad, or color, or whatever, with this whole quarantine thing. Please wait till at least mid-July. I know it's a while, but get creative, you know? You'll be so happy you did. touching up your roots is fine, Lex Rivera. That's totally cool, okay? Like, that's the thing you've done before. I don't mind you doing beauty treatments that you've done before because you know them. Just don't try anything brand new. This is not a time to take risks in beauty, and there are amazing times to take risks. This is just not one of them. Okay, so no new bright ideas with beauty. Stick to your old regimen, and you'll be so much better, okay? So I see people here who shave their head. Okay, so let's talk about money now. Money. All right, Venus is retrograde, the planet that also rules money. What does that mean? It means that this is not the best time to make big financial decisions about your life either for the next month, because they might not be so smart, as Venus is square to Neptune too. We're not thinking so clearly in regards to love and money. So what should we do? Just not make major decisions around it. Somebody might come to you and be like, hey, I have a great business idea. Let's do this. Let's collaborate. We're going to make money. What you can say is, you know what? Venus is retrograde for another month. Let's chat about it, but let's talk more seriously in about a month. And I promise you, you'll be so glad you did. Okay? So, the fourth thing I want to talk to you about is vacation. Now, there are great times to vacation, there are bad times to vacation. And I know in some European countries, the quarantines are already lifting and people are going to want to go on vacation, whether they're driving somewhere, flying, taking a boat, whatever. Yes, stay home. Why? Well, not only because of COVID, but also when Venus is retrograde, it is hands down the worst time to vacation. Like, your hotel is not going to be all it's cracked up to be. Neither will the beach, neither will anything. So, like, this is a time to just take it easy and focus on your, like, letting go of old patterns in relationship or strengthening your relationship, learning more about each other, focus on your inner life, not making any major changes. I lead retreats every year, and one year I led a retreat in Mexico on the West Coast, and Venus was retrograde. Never again. Things were just not as they usually are. So now I time my retreats so carefully to make sure Venus is not retrograde. And it wasn't horrible. It just wasn't exactly as I thought, like the way that the rooms were set up and everything. Okay, so yeah, you want to be careful. So let's see. I want to get to some of your questions. Venus is retrograde until the end of June, though I would say until June 25th. They'll wait until the end of July to be on the safe side, to like wait 3 weeks into July, because there's a thing called a shadow, and you've already been feeling the shadow the last 3 weeks, as maybe some relationship challenges have come up for you. Yeah. So anyway, after this lifts, I have to say August will be an amazing month, though. Yeah, so like I would plan more of your events in August. Like, you'll be so happy you did. That's a great month for any kinds of beauty treatments, investments, business plans, all of that. Love August, okay? Just like you want to be, the whole thing about astrology is about being in alignment with the planets, moving with the cosmic current, not moving against it, you know? I see fashion passion now, you're planning a family. That's fine. You know, like, that's fine. You just don't need to be, like, making big decisions about your appearance or your financial investments or deciding to date an ex. Please, none of those things, you know? So, let's see. I want to get to some of your questions as well. So I'm going to check what you all are writing, okay? And again, my name is Rebecca Gordon here, and you can check me out. You can check out my Insta here, Rebecca Gordon Astrology, or RebeccaGordonAstrology.com. And again, if you're interested in a reading, the code is Harpers Bazaar, all in caps. Venus goes retrograde tomorrow, and you've already been feeling it the last few weeks. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we have in questions here. All right. So the first question is, I am an Aries and I'm in my 30s and I always end up breaking up and have strong anxiety now. You always end up breaking up during a Venus retrograde. Is that it? Okay, anxiety right now, first of all, you are not alone having anxiety right now because the world is in a pretty strange state. We're all like locked in our homes, and it's very hard. So ultimately, I'm not a therapist, but I would recommend somebody to work with, somebody else to talk to, and you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to recommend somebody. I think there's all kinds of meditative practices that are helpful too, but a lot of times relationships, again, do break up during a Venus retrograde. And if that is happening to you, it's probably because this relationship was not meant to last. So it's like the really strong winds come in and they break down all the branches and break all the trees that are not really built for the long haul. But if you're in a good relationship, it will get stronger, okay? You both will need to ask each other questions. Venus is in Gemini. Again, Gemini rules social media. And we're going to see a lot of public discussion about women, feminism, the role of women, how women are defining femininity and feminism right now. So that's going to be a big conversation too during this Venus retrograde. Relationships, for sure. So I want to get to some of these other questions. Hold on. Okay. Somebody says, I have a new job and I'm a Cancer. Does Venus retrograde have impact? Okay, so if you just got into a new job, I would say because Venus is retrograde, it's not like Mercury retrograde. So it's not going to affect those kinds of things that would happen in the office. Like you're not going to have as many miscommunications and things like that. Overall, that's fine if you started a new job. I think you're going to be great. Congratulations. Annalise, that's awesome. So it doesn't affect everything, okay. That's great. Congratulations. Yeah. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay. Somebody said, can you please talk about Scorpios? Well, Scorpios. Okay. Are there a lot of Scorpios in the room right now? Are there a lot of Scorpios right now in the room? Okay, so I will say this. The Venus retrograde is in the sign of Gemini. So for Scorpio, that's what's called the 8th house. It's called the house that rules your financial resources. So our Scorpios are really having to look at their old patterns regarding money. Also, your old subconscious patterns about sharing, connecting, vulnerability. Scorpios are in a deep dive right now. You're letting go of your old patterns, I would say. Scorpios and Scorpio rising. Yeah. A lot of work on the past, clearing stuff out, especially your financial patterns. You're going to be in a much better place after this retrograde, Scorpio. Now, there's people who have their sun and their moon in Gemini. I see Shrubati says, my sun and moon are both in Gemini. Do I need to be extra careful? Well, if you're a Gemini and Venus is going retrograde in your sign, that means you are reviewing how you present yourself to the world. And this is a time when you will, again, want to think twice about changing your appearance, but think about your message. Think about what you've been sharing. And this is a time to align all parts of your life. Like, all of us are going to be thinking, is the career I'm doing in alignment with my values? Venus rules values. Is my relationship in line with my values? Is the way I'm sharing myself on social media in alignment with what I believe in? All these kinds of things. So if this is about realignment with your values. So if you are a Gemini, you are probably feeling this extra. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh wow, somebody's birthday is June 21st, and that is such a big deal. Hiya. Hey there. There's a solar eclipse on your birthday this year. So this is a huge year for you if you're born June 21st, or if you're born around June 21st. Is anybody here born around June 21st? Your life will change more dramatically than ever this year. And it is about a rebirth of self, like a completely new, it's not even like a new chapter, it's like a brand new freaking book. Total rebirth. Amazing. Go Haya. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. So somebody asked me if I can recommend a good astrology app. You know, a lot of my friends run the apps. Like, I know Banu from CoStar. I know Annabelle Gatt from Astro Guide. So I like them both. I mean, there might be other ones too. What I personally use as a professional astrologer is an app called Astro Gold. But I think like if you're not if you don't know how to read the planets, then you might want to get like Astro Guide or CoStar. Yeah. Okay. So also hold on. I'm going to give you some more offers at the end too. So stick around. Let me just see what else we got here. How do these retrogrades affect Aries, rising, sun and moon? Aries and Libra. Well, if you're an Aries or Libra, it's about what you say and how you communicate, as Venus is going retrograde in your communication sectors. So please, like, wait that extra second before the words slip out of your mouth. You might say something that causes more damage. So it's really important to review the ways you speak and connect to people if you're an Aries or Libra. You'll be making some big changes there. Okay. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Okay, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A, because I'm getting a lot in the chat. It's hard to see. Yeah, if you have your natal Venus in Gemini, hey Eunice, good to see you. I'm seeing all of my previous students in the room now. Love that. I've been an astrologer here in New York City for about 15 years full time, and so every time I hop on, I see like students I've had like 10 years ago or clients from the past. So it's welcome, all of you. Good to see you here. Makes me so happy. Okay, so back to Eunice. Hi, Eunice. So your natal Venus is in Gemini. Any tips? Well, Venus as a woman, your Venus sign is how you dress, how you look, how your femininity shines through you. So I would say this. If you have a Venus in Gemini, you're likely known for the way you speak and connect to others, and you have a sort of fun, flirtatious vibe. You definitely have a way with words. You're probably a great writer and speaker as well. If you have a natal Venus in Gemini, you're also going to be reviewing how you show yourself to the world physically and making probably some adjustments there so the outside of you mirrors more of the inside of you. Does that make sense? This is about realignment. So sometimes we're like dressing one way all the time or looking a certain way, but that's not exactly the message that we want to send to the world. And people are treating us in a certain way because of that. So this is the time to realign your values with who you are. Okay, let's see. All right, 13th of September, Virgo. Virgo this year, yeah, I mean, you have Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto all in your house of true love. For Virgo, this is of a year about love or fertility. Yeah, those kinds of things. Also, there might be a new creative project that emerges in your life. Okay, what else do we have? Virgo with Cancer rising. Okay. All right, somebody's asking Virgo and Virgo compatibility. I mean, honestly, compatibility, we could talk a whole nother day about that. But let's see. I would say yeah, if you all want to do that, we could have a compatibility, a whole live about compatibility. Essentially, any sign could go with any sign because you're much more than your sun sign. Your sun sign is just one small part of the chart. I like to look at your moon sign when we're talking about compatibility. I find that to be a little more important when we deal with intimate relationships, especially living together. Your moon sign is so important. Like, it's your habits. And if you don't like somebody's habits and patterns, and if they don't jive with yours, it's going to be so hard to live together. Those are moon signs, not sun signs. Okay. I think any signs can go well together, though. Yeah. Ultimately there's different relationships for different signs. We can dive deeper into that at another time, for sure. Though, yeah, I would look at moon signs, and for sexuality, I would look at your Venus and Mars signs to see how sexually compatible you are as well. And learning about your needs in relationships and your partner's needs. Your moon speaks to your emotional needs. Mars and Venus speak to your sexual needs. And your sun sign is really, who you are, how you present yourself in the world. Okay. Somebody says, how can we find out our moon sign? You could go onto one of those apps that I mentioned, like CoStar or AstroGuide, and find your moon sign. Also, you should know your rising sign, because whenever you read my horoscopes in Harpers, I really want you to read for your rising sign as well as your sun sign, okay? And for those of you just joining now, the code, again, to put into my website is Harpers Bazaar, all in caps, and that will give you 15% off of any of the readings we offer. So remember that, and you can follow me on social too and ask any questions in my messenger if you have them. All right. So it's a big year for Cancerians because there's a solar eclipse in Cancer for sure. And Cancer and Capricorn have probably had the biggest relationship changes out of all signs. All right, let me just see. Okay, I like this question. Somebody says, Aditi says, what does the retrograde really mean? And I actually want to explain this a little bit to you, because the planets really don't move backwards in the sky. They just kind of like appear to move backwards. What happens is they move slightly out of their natural orbit, but not literally backwards. But from Earth's perspective, it appears to look backwards. So when a planet's retrograde, it just means that all matters that have to do with that planet are not working as well. They're not as much in harmony. Like Venus rules love, money, beauty. That means we just have to just relax in those areas for a while, not make any big decisions. When Mercury's retrograde, that rules communication, work, business, commerce, directions, those are the areas to slow your roll on, okay? So planets don't really move backwards, yeah. All right. Let's see. There's like so many questions. I don't know if I could get to everything. Yeah, for the Sag rising and Sagittarius people, this is definitely happening in your 7th house of partnership. And you will want to really review your patterns in partners and how you choose your partners and why. And notice when early patterns from relationships or other things are coming up in your current partnership. It's time to let go of old reasons, old patterns of validation. And I think this is global for all women right now. And, women have just overall been in this space, this of looking for validity, needing validity in some ways because of a lot of what we've been through as a species. So I think this is an important time to redefine yourself as a woman as well, and really do what feels good to you this time around. Again, there's a lot of roles that have been placed on us, and this is the time to dissect it all, to question everything, and have the conversations publicly. This is so important. So what else do we see here? Leos. Leos are going to be making some big decisions about who they want to be around, your social circles, things like that. What feels right for you, what doesn't. A lot of people, I see a lot of Sagittarius here talking about Venus retrograde in the 7th house. Yes, your partnership is having to go through an entire overhaul. It's true, but it's good. It will be for the better. If you actually do this work on your partnership in the next month, you will be in a much better place for years and years after, you know? This is the time to ask the hard questions, to be like, what's under the rug? Let's deal with it, you know? So let's see. Capricorn's actually going to be having to focus on their health and their body, and they're going to be looking at a lot of routines that we used to do, whether it was like nutrition, diet, or exercise, and changing the way you go approach those things. Let's see. Somebody's asking me about my lipstick. You know what? I'll write me in the chat because I don't remember the name of it now. A lot of people are asking about my lipstick. Okay. So no, I'll write you. I'll find it in the chat. Okay, good time for online dating. Now that's a great question. So dating, meeting people, sure, you can meet people. A good time for commitment? No. Do you want to plan your future with the person right now? Absolutely not. But I even feel like if you start dating somebody right now, it's very possible that somebody from their past comes back or somebody from your past comes back. So just take things in stride, take it real slow, you know? There's no need to rush. I would go very slow during the Venus retrograde, and it's totally fine if you just want to have fun right now. Though I would say, as far as, just we don't want to make commitments about our future. So let's see what else we have. I'm a Taurus. Do you think I will? Okay, I'm not going to say that one. Okay, I'm just looking at all your questions. So many. Virgo and Libra compatibility. Did you meet through work? I'm curious. A lot of Virgo and Libras are like work partners in some kind of creative field. I see that all the time. They're both so aesthetic and they work well together in a kind of beauty area. It can work as a partnership too. You do have very different ideas about love and relationship though. So, see, Libra, generally speaking, will need a lot of like guessing and romance and foreplay, and Virgo is like wants the thorough promise keeper to know that this is in alignment for the long haul, these sorts of things. So you do have slightly different values, but they can work well together too. Okay. A lot of people are asking about applying for a new job. Applying for a new job is totally fine right now during a Venus retrograde. Look, if it was Mercury retrograde, I'd say be careful. Venus is about love. So this is, love is the area of your life. You want to second guess it. You want to say, do we really need to go forward right now? My cousin Lisa was about to get married in May, and at first she didn't ask me about the wedding date. And honestly, I was so happy when the wedding got canceled because of coronavirus, because I didn't want her to get married during a Venus retrograde. And so now, like, tonight we're going to talk about a new wedding date. I think I got to as many of your questions as I could right now. And I'll be hopping on again next week to talk to you about what's going on in the stars that week. But right now, this is going to be going on for the next month. But just so you know, not only Venus is retrograde, but this week we have Saturn and Jupiter Also going retrograde. So a lot of planets up there are moving backwards. So that means that here in our personal lives, we're having to question things more often. Question where we find our value in the world. Question our career direction. Question our relationship. See what's under the rug. And have the hard conversations. Venus is in the sign of Gemini, so it wants you to talk. Okay? How are y'all doing? I loved being on here with all of you. You are amazing and you asked such good questions. You can check me out again here next Monday at noon Eastern Time. And again, bring your questions. I'll get to as many as I can and we'll talk about the next week in the sky and here on planet Earth. Thanks Harpers Bazaar and thanks to you all for joining me here. Have a beautiful week ahead.